Go VIP. Let's kick it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to the Robb Crocker Show, sponsored by Branch and Barrel, best whiskey in the state of Colorado. I am Alexander Gonzalez. Jared Burrows is with me here in the studio. How's it going, Jared?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Fantastic, actually. And, of course, the man of the hour, your host, Robb Crocker himself. How are we doing?
Dance with the devil, walk with the angels. We got a big show tonight. We've had a busy week.
If you weren't dancing and walking, you wouldn't be Robb Crocker, I'll tell you that much.
That's for sure. If it ain't black, it's white.
That too. We've got a lot to talk about, as you said. I'm going to go ahead and let you pick your first topic out of the bucket, and we'll get right into it.
All right. Well, I think the most relevant thing was Sunday, the Super Bowl. I'm sure you guys watched it possibly and watched the rules, etc. What'd you guys think of?
I thought, well, thankfully the Eagles won.
Yes.
Put the Chiefs at bay. I mean,
They didn't just win. They dominated, kicked their ass.
No, it was an absolute slaughter. It was entertaining to see that. The game itself wasn't super entertaining because of that, but it was kind of great at the same time to watch that happen. The true score in my eyes is it was 40-6, and then they said just throw every fourth string we have in there and let them score a couple points for fun. But I thought it was, it was great to see that happen, to see the end result essentially.
There was a lot of on it, and I think, like always, the casinos covered. They had everybody believe that it was going to be a low score, then ultimately 2-point score. But I would say highlight for me was watching Trump salute, cheers everywhere. Then the jumbotron showed Taylor Swift and booed echoed through the stadium.
Yeah, I did see that, and it's funny to see people try and switch, like what actually happened, where they kind of say, well, Donald Trump was the one that got booed and Taylor Swift was the one that got cheered. They always do that every time. But, I mean, obviously, this is football. This is the sport of America. You have to realize that a majority of the people that watch football, especially going to the games and stuff, are going to be Trump supporters. That's just a matter of fact. And I think people, obviously, too, at the same time, are tired of the whole Taylor Swift thing, especially recently, after all the stuff is coming out about Hollywood and people like her. So it makes sense for that kind of reaction to happen. I mean, last year, the year prior, Taylor Swift, all over the Jumbotron. This time,
It's the last time.
It was, what, twice that we saw her the whole time?
Yeah, I only saw Trump twice as well. I saw him walking the field, then I saw him salute actually on, which is fine with me. Like
Yeah.
I said about the football.
Exactly. We're here to watch football. We don't need to see, which celebrity is here 20 times in a game. I mean, that's to me, if you're doing that, that's almost admitting that no one's really interested in the game itself, and you have to throw the celebrities out there. But I feel like they did less of that this time, and it was more focused on the game itself.
Like you said earlier, wasn't much. And I think a lot of people look forward to watching the commercial. And I don't know if you guys had a favorite. I personally did. It was the Doritos commercial, to where it was something from outer space coming to get it. And ironically, two guys who did that commercial are from North Carolina and won $1 million to put that commercial in the Super Bowl.
Nice.
Oh, I think similarly to that, an interesting commercial that they did was with Gordon Ramsay and what's the guy's name? Butthole Eyes. I don't know, but he basically, they hinted at the whole thing where, really famous people are all aliens, and they had the Area 51 and all this stuff. It's like this time around they were really pushing the alien thing again. And you can take that however you want, but I think that was kind of ironic that they were pushing for that this time.
Yeah, I thought it was. Of course, Anheuser-Busch had the Clydesdales, which I thought was good. That was a good commercial. But the worst thing I saw in the Super Bowl was the halftime show. It didn't resonate. And maybe it did with a lot of young people. It didn't for me.
The way I see it is, I agree. It didn't resonate with a lot of people. I think that the performance was super niche. You had to be a super niche audience to appreciate it, meaning you had to know the drama behind Kendrick Lamar and Drake to understand a lot of the stuff. You have to be kind of in the know with a lot of that stuff. And some people, take it and they compare it to certain things that are happening in politics. So you don't really know exactly what the message is. But my take from it is, it was for a super niche audience. The performance itself, I think, was a good performance, just not for the Super Bowl and the audience that it was being presented to. It didn't resonate with a lot of people. I would say maybe 5% of people it resonated with.
Well, there was 125 million people watching it, so 5% of that's not a very big number.
No. And two, I think that you go on social media and see everyone talking about it now. Those aren't people that truly understood it when they were watching it. Those are people that found the information on social media or on the internet, and now it's the echo chamber. It's people that are kind of pretending like they knew the whole time. I truly don't believe that, a big majority of people watching it understood all the references and the whole message behind it. I think it was kind of just like, now everyone wants to be the person that is in the know. So truly, I'd say 5% of people actually resonated with the show.
Well, on top of that, they had a performer who got in and flew a Palestinian Sudanese flag and ultimately got arrested, which I just think that, like you said, no place for that in that environment.
No, I think, and they escorted him off stage quickly because obviously that wasn't part of the show. It was part of someone's agenda, but obviously that wasn't part of the plan.
Always is.
But there's no place for that. We're trying to enjoy the game. We're trying to enjoy a good performance. And everyone, just like in Hollywood, all of the award shows and stuff, everyone's trying to insert their political agenda into all aspects of entertainment now. And I think the majority of Americans just want to break from that. They just want to have the entertainment side of it. They don't want to be, constantly they want to constantly have the agenda shoved in their face all the time.
Especially in that, I think that it's interesting because everyone is so ecstatic that there was 126 million people who watched the Super Bowl. Well, that fell in comparison to the World Cup, where 1.3 billion watched the World Cup 22.
Yeah.
And that number is going to be larger the next time they play. So football is huge in America, but soccer is the world's sport. There is no doubt about it.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So with the world sport, we'll go into your favorite topic, Gonzo. Immigration. ICE.
Baby.
Well, the state of Florida has 5.5 million people who are immigrants, which ultimately is 22% of the population of Florida. And Governor DeSantis just passed, with the help of state representatives, new laws that are going to entitle any police officer or anyone who wears a badge for the state of Florida to be able to detain you and get you. His quote is, "We do not want illegal in the state of Florida." So my question to you is, who's going to cut the grass? Who's going to pick the fruit? Who's going to milk the cow? And who's going to build the building in the state of Florida?
So quickly, you said 5.5 million immigrants in the state of Florida?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's not all illegal. That's
Right.
just
Yeah.
so that's 5.5 million immigrants that we know of total, I'm guessing, legal and
Yep.
illegal. So I would say that a majority of that is probably legal. A smaller percentage of that is illegal, and then obviously there's more illegal immigrants that aren't in that
Documented.
percentage. Right, that we don't know about.
Undocumented, I mean.
Undocumented. So in terms of them getting illegal immigrants deported, obviously there's going to be some discrepancy in the things you said. Obviously we know that there are illegal immigrants, undocumented immigrants that are doing those jobs, but it's not all the jobs. As I've stated before, my position on that is it's job openings, and I know that there are people in the state of Florida that would be willing to take those jobs. We live, Crocker was bugging me about, he calls me a rich guy. So me personally, I'm not going to do that job, but I know there's plenty of people in the state of Florida that would be willing to do jobs like that.
name 5.
Juan, no, I mean, me personally, I don't have close friends that would be doing that job, and I don't know people personally, but if you look at the demographics, you know that there are people that are looking for work in all fields in the state of Florida. I mean, you have a big group of people that work in construction, for example. You have farmers. You have people that work in factories. And some of these people have been let go previously, too, and they would be happy to take some of these jobs because they don't have an option. We've seen it not only in the state of Florida, but across the country, layoffs in a bunch of different industries. So I think it would be wrong to say that these jobs wouldn't be filled by certain people.
Well, I don't know any personally who is not a Latin American who would go out and pick fruit.
I mean, if I didn't have any other option, if my life turned upside down and someone came to me, I had no job, no money, and someone said, "Hey, I want you to pick fruit for minimum wage," that's a start for me. It'd be a very, very humbling experience, quite honestly. But if you have no option, you have to start somewhere. I think that, and some of the comments we're getting too, is that you have to realize too, there's a lot of migrant workers that are here legally that are willing to do these jobs. Because too, if you come to a brand new country, you're not going to have all the certifications or qualifications to get a nice cushy job most of the time. You do have to start somewhere. So I take all that information, and my perspective on it is it's not going to be like total vacancy. There are going to be enough jobs to fulfill the needs of the state, whether it's exporting, importing, local, whatever it is.
Well, I just find it very interesting knowing that people in restaurants have a difficult time finding dishwashers, other industries finding people to do the lesser and more difficult jobs. But I think people kid themselves as well. They think just because they're a Latin American or whatever their product, they still make a premium amount of money to work in this country.
Yeah.
They don't work for a lesser dollar figure that most people in their head think about.
The way Scott views it too is if you stop handouts, for example, federal and state money,
People will find a way.
people will be forced to work because a lot of people all across the nation are getting handouts, and these are people that a lot of times don't necessarily need them. They're investigating Social Security right now.
Yeah.
That whole organization, that whole entity is going to be audited up and down, and changes are going to happen.
As well as Medicare and Medicaid.
All that. But I personally have worked with people that were trying to get disability through Social Security. And the problem with that is what you see a lot of times, unfortunately, is the people that need disability a lot of them end up not getting it. And then you have these people that really don't need it, like they could go to work. They're the ones that end up getting the funding. So that's frustrating too. You have people that could go to work, no problem, but they don't want to because they can get a government check. And then you have people that genuinely are disabled and cannot go to work. These are the people that aren't getting money. So we have to completely change this system and flip it around.
Well, I think that's what we'll get into later. But I want to talk about one of my favorite foods, which is eggs. I love eggs. And all of a sudden, that the egg shortage has become really prevalent to where Costco and other grocery stores are minimizing purchases and the quantity of what you can actually buy. And I find that that's crazy in the United States of America, where we allowed Joe Biden and his administration to basically euthanize 150 million chickens because bird flu became prevalent.
Right.
So
supposedly,
whatever the supposedly be, but I know it's one of my favorite restaurants here, Waffle House.
Waffle House.
Yeah, we know that's a true statement. Keep going.
So they have put a 50-cent surcharge on every egg that they're selling right now. So if you wanted 5 eggs, an extra $2.50. So, and there's a lot of other restaurants that are not doing that they're utilizing, like Cracker Barrel. Their statement was that wouldn't be very hospitable to raise the price on their eggs. But this is also the same family front porch restaurant that now sells mimosa and Bloody Mary. But I guess they still have that little triangle board. I haven't been in a long time. So, but yeah, so I find it crazy, and there's no solution in the future to eliminate this because you can only produce chicken so fast, and they can only lay so many eggs.
Well, I think I wouldn't say that there's no solution. I think we could definitely figure out a solution. And someone in the comments is telling us too, and I'm not sure how accurate this is, but it makes sense to an extent. If you go to Mexico and get go to Mexico and get an 18-pack of eggs, it costs around $1.40 USD. So obviously this is an issue in the United States. And like you said, the previous administration felt the need to euthanize 150 million roughly chickens. So, and Scott Norris says that the pricing's true. So obviously, if there's no shortage of eggs in Mexico, maybe we can work out a deal with Mexico and get some chickens up here in the United States.
Since our people are here anyways.
True. Maybe we can exchange the legal immigrants for chickens. I don't know.
I was getting ready to trade one illegal immigrant for.
That'll work.
It would.
That'll get us close to the 150 million that we lost, I think, actually.
I was wrong.
Hey, it's just statistics. I look at the numbers. That's all I do.
All right. Well, I don't see. It goes back to what we talked about with Kennedy coming in. The food, how our food can get manipulated so quickly.
Yeah.
Imagine if something happened with pigs and cows. You've got 3 staples that we have a shortage.
Yeah,
But I know somebody that's got 5 pigs. If it really came down to it, we might be able to.
For a day between all of us. But I think too, I mean, and the unfortunate thing is, for example, Bill Gates buying up a bunch of farmland, and we've allowed him to do that, and the farmland is vacant. It's not being used for anything. That can affect, production of beef or pork. So obviously, our country's been taken advantage of. There's no doubt about it. And it's all coming out right now. I think that there's so much more we don't know that is going to continue to come out. But this shouldn't be a legitimate issue. The only reason it's an issue is because the government is doing it intentionally. And they're allowing people like Bill Gates to mess with us. And for whether it's to drive prices up for greed or whether it's to cause, genuine chaos amongst the country, I'm not entirely sure. But obviously, what I do know is that it's all done intentionally by design.
What do you think about creating the fake foods?
Well, there you go. Bill Gates is the one that was really pushing for lab-grown meat. Why would we need lab-grown meat if there was plenty of cows? But if you manufacture a shortage of cows, there's no more beef. Listen, we need overpriced lab-grown meat. God knows what's in it. Feed that to the people for a premium, and the side effects might come with that as well. So that goes back to the whole greed thing.
Well, I think with Trump doing and saying what he said on the campaign trail, promises made, promises kept. Like October 24th, he was somewhere and he told people that Fort Liberty would go back and become Fort Bragg. That happened today in Fayetteville, North Carolina. It's the world's largest military base. That military base was significant in winning World War and World War. And I love how they did it. They didn't go back to the former Bragg that was there because he was a Confederate general who owned slaves. They went on a rolling Bragg, private first class, who won a silver medal. An awesome story. He stole a German ambulance and picked up one of the guys who was hurt and drove him 20 miles, got him to the hospital. Then he stole a German Jeep on the way back to where his units were. So he was getting shot by the Germans and he was getting shot by the Americans. But he managed to live. So that's awesome. You can hear stories like that. We don't have people that are doing that. And he was a young 17-year-old kid. So stuff like that's good. But like Trump said, I will rename Bragg. He did it. Just like he's doing with Elon Musk. He told the country what he was going to do. Elon Musk was beside him for most of all the rallies. And he is doing that, and it is hair-lipping the world. When I look at the profanity laid verbiage coming out, congresswomen, and the senators, I think they should go back to their district and tell the people that they shouldn't worry about government. Because when they go do that, they're never winning again. You look at who's behind them at the rallies in D.C. It's federal government employees. I have a sailor's mouth, but man, they make me look safe. So, it's kind of when you're defending yourself that violently, there's something hidden.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. I mean, if you look at, for one example, Elizabeth Warren, who's absolutely losing her mind right now.
Yes.
You have to realize that there is something wrong with her, because if she is getting that defensive and freaking out, and to the point where she's assaulting, news reporters that are trying to get information from her, you know that there's something wrong. You know that she is probably going to be arrested or charged with something because she's responsible for doing wrong. And she's on the list of people, for example, that received millions of dollars in kickbacks from Ukraine. For one example, I'm sure she's involved in a lot of other stuff too. So you're absolutely right. These people that went to the Department of Education and were, begging to get in, they have an interest in getting in there for whatever reason. And Elon Musk and the Department of DOGE and the new administration is saying, no, you're not allowed in. He, with the Trump administration, is going in and unloading on these people. He's finding everything that he possibly can about them, and he's going to expose it all.
He's not unloading. What he's doing, Gonzo, is he's basically taking a checkbook that you have at your and saying, why was this check written to Ukraine? There's no memo stating what it was for. And everything is accountable for. You're talking about billions of dollars. Last week, they gave hotels in New York City $56 million, $59 million for New York hotels, illegal immigrants. They were paying double the nightly rate that they typically charge. So money's going back and forth.
Right.
There is no doubt. But I like the acronym that they created, the Department of Government Evil. That is what Maxine Audit, Cory Booker. Look, the irony.
They're projecting.
Their districts are sucking wind. The people are no better off in their district, in their states, since they've been elected. They need to justify what they've done for their region, not people across the world. For the amount of money that's been sent to all these other countries could have solved so many regional problems in states. It's just assassin. Democrats they had a 31% approval rate when Trump won.
Mm-hmm.
If they continue to beat the drum that they're beating right now, it's only going to continue to go down. There's nothing that MSNBC, CNN, all the other three-letter words can do to save them, because anyone with common sense is going to realize that they're not doing anything for them.
Exactly. Yeah.
So people care about eggs, gas costs, and look at what happened this week. You saw the Secretary of Transportation. You saw Christy Nolan, J.D. Vance. You've seen all three of the people go to Western North Carolina in 1 week, and Joe Biden could have gave a rat's ass. FEMA wasn't giving people money who had Trump flag in their front yard. So it's just, you've got a grown up driving the bus, and the other guy was sleeping in the back of the bus.
I think that both administrations had intention. The previous administration had the intention of doing the American people wrong, period. And Joe Biden was the forefront of that. A guy who clearly had no idea what he was doing, because he wasn't responsible for doing any of it. It was the people that were controlling him and doing it on the back end. He was just the guy that you could blame. Now you have this administration with intent to do good for the American people. Like you said, Trump himself went to North Carolina multiple times. Many members of his administration are going there, and you can see them in real time doing the work that needs to be done. It's black and white, complete difference. So the fact that there are certain people in the United States that claim they don't understand what's going on, or they think that it is the Trump administration that is doing evil, is beyond me.
Well, the majority of the country voted for what's happening. So they have to be pleased with the results he's producing in 22 days. This guy's floating like a butterfly and stinging like a bee. He's not backing down. He just has everybody on their toes because they're not used to someone giving a damn and working hard and wanting to see the actual American citizen be better off today than they were yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that hard.
No. And I think that's another reason why the people that you were talking about earlier, the elites, are so frustrated, because the game is over now. Just like Kendrick Lamar, the lights in the back, game over. Listen, this guy means business. He's not in the same club. He came in and he said, listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put people in charge of getting rid of corruption, exposing it, and then stopping it, and then punishing people for it. And that's why they're furious. Because...
Well, here was the question today. A reporter asked Elon Musk how he could oversee himself in the contract with the federal government and the Defense Department. His answer was beautiful. He said, anybody can go look at it, and the government out at the better end of the contract.
Right.
He literally Starlink to people in Western North Carolina and out in Los Angeles. But no one's going to support him doing something for the people.
Yeah, and you have someone like Elizabeth Warren who says we shouldn't have normal citizens have access to this information. Why is that? At the end of the day,
everybody who has access to this fucking information is a normal citizen. They're hired.
Not only that, the rest of us that weren't hired, we're the ones that hired them. They work for us. So we should be able to audit what they're doing. We should know everything that they are doing, where the money's going, what they're doing with the money, what they're doing in their free time, mind you, because they're using that money to go on vacations to Hawaii. Work trips to Hawaii, work trips to Europe, whatever it is. We should know everything that they're doing, how much they're spending, and what they're doing with our money.
Well, DOGE has a website that is showing what they're finding and what they're doing on a daily basis. They're the most transparent organization in Washington, D.C. But then you have the Democrats saying that President Trump wasted all of this money going to the Super Bowl. But he is the only president that doesn't take a salary, or never has.
Exactly.
Elon Musk is working for free.
Exactly.
So how you can justify the ignorance by these wanting to divide America once again. There has to be a Democrat that's strong enough to say, you know what? I'm walking away from all of these idiots and this lunacy and get back to the Bill Clinton Democrat. Until they do that, they're not going anywhere, because they have lost the 18 to 29-year-old vote. Those people look at Trump as an icon.
Exactly.
So all three of us know, as kids like that get older, they get married, they have kids, they become more conservative in their view. You're going to lose the people out there wearing pink hats, marching down the streets, begging for all the shit they've been begging for. Those people are not the majority of Americans.
No. And that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. When you no longer are able to get a handout, you have to realize that, shit, I got to go get a job. And work for my money so that I can survive, and that if I do want to have a family, they can survive as well. So you're taking the whole system and flipping it upside down and saying, listen, reality is you have to go work and do something to earn money in order to survive. You can't just get a handout for no reason. Socialism doesn't work. Communism doesn't work. It never has. It never will. Wake up, go get a job, go do something productive for society.
It's clear that fraud is huge, and they are doing everything they can to stop the and abuse in D.C. And when someone, a great line today, a 150-year-old person is still getting a check from the federal government. And Elon Musk said, this guy should be in Guinness World of Records. He's the oldest person ever living. It's comical to him. Like, he's not worried about anything. And that's the kind of person that you have to have doing this. There's nothing for him to gain other than wanting America to be better and not full of bureaucracy.
The way I see it is there's three types of people. One, you're in on the game. And if you're in on it, you don't want any information getting out because that's how you lose money. The second person is completely ignorant to it, and they think that, you know, the government does all good. They're looking out for me. They want socialism because we can all, you know, sit on our ass and get a check. And then the third person starts finding out what's really going on. And the more you find out, like Elon Musk, you want to keep digging and digging and digging because you're doing what's right, number one. But number two, you're exposing the corruption. And the more you find out, the worse it gets. And you just can't stop. That's why Americans all over are waking up and saying, are you serious? This is really happening right now? And they're waking up and saying, this needs to stop. And now there's all these conspiracy theorists, quote unquote, out there because they're starting to realize that everything they've been told since Kennedy is pretty much a lie.
And the thing about it, John, is they are so out of kilter right now. Anyone who is running against any one of those people in 2 years or the next election, all they have to do is show the video of them out there screaming the profanity. Then on the other side of the screen, show what Elon Musk found. Is this the person you want to elect who did not want to take care of them?
Exactly.
It's time to get rid of them out of there.
I 100% agree. I think that's part of the reason, too. The more you can expose these people, the more citizens will realize that these are bad people with bad intentions. Like, why do you want to vote Elizabeth Warren back in? Why do you want to vote Bernie Sanders back in? Maxine Waters, all these people. Why would you want to vote these people in? All they've been doing is stealing your money, essentially.
But you got to have someone strong enough to say, look, quit looking at their name. That name is the one who has screwed over your neighborhood. That name hasn't done shit for you. Are you any better off since this person was elected? Look at her. She's raising hell, cussing. She doesn't want your life to get better. DOGE is fixing to cut $881 million from the Department of Education. And that can't get here soon enough because they are idiots. Those women and men who wanted to keep the schools closed during COVID, they just didn't want to fucking work. Lazy. They do not give a shit about your kids. All they care about is themselves, and you got to get rid of those people. Plain and simple. An educator, we've talked about it a lot of times, has the ability to put their hand and show your children a big world. And if that world gets spun in the least little way, their thought process is going to be skewed. they have to be eliminated.
I 100% agree. I think that the school system is also corrupt. They have been erasing history, rebranding history. They are essentially useless when it comes to teaching you real world skills or real world values. I mean, yeah, we got to teach our kids how to, do math and read and write, of course. But you get to high school, it's all bullshit.
Who on God's green earth, if any educator said we should put a litter box in a hallway, they need to be fired immediately and get the hell out of the school, because they are not doing any child justice. It's no different than giving a participation trophy to someone. Once you started giving participation trophies to kids, everything became inadequate and just kumbaya. When I played sports, when I did anything, even to now, I want to be the best while I'm fucking doing it.
Exactly.
Period. Do you not?
No. The problem with participation
Do
trophies.
you not want to have the best cigar that you can have to sell?
Exactly.
Because you take pride in what you're doing. You don't have some teacher patting you on the ass and saying, it's okay, Gonzo, you can be average. You don't have to do good today.
I do like a good pat on the ass, though.
I'm sure you do.
Hey, you are awake tonight, Jared. That's good to see.
Yes, I'm listening. The fact of the matter is, if you're able to cut $851 million from the Department of Education, where's all the money going? And why would you be against that? We could easily raise the anyone's, any teacher's salary who
I'm
desperately
going to
needs it in
say
their
this
area.
one more time to you, Gonzo, and to you, Jared. There's approximately 330 to 340 American citizens in this country.
Million.
You take 881 million and you give every American citizen $1 million. You're getting ready to solve a lot of problems in the United States of America.
Yeah.
The economy is going to be, everything's going to be bought. Everything will flow. It's amazing. But instead, we're worried about sending $200 million worth of condoms to Gaza.
Or billions to Ukraine.
So I'm pro-America. I want to see us take care of what's here. And I hate to say it, I'm not a Gaza Strip rebuild guy like Trump's wanting to do. I think that we can take that money, go build Chicago, I-40, make all of the Baltimore, all of these areas that have similar issues that Gaza has. It's just internally with our country. I think we'd be better served to do that than go somewhere halfway across the world and get ourselves in a situation of a war that's been going on from the beginning of time.
Well, I'll agree with you on this. I don't give a shit about Gaza, quite frankly. I do agree with you. I think that first things first, take care of this nation, use the money for that. And I think that, it's still so early in this administration. I think what's going to happen is we're going to see all this stuff come out. We're going to see all this money being saved. Like you said, cutting back on the Department of Education and all this other stuff. All this money is going to be coming back into the United States so that we can improve this nation. And I think there will be some stuff left over to do outside of this nation, which I'm not I'm not really crazy about. But at the end of the day, I think we're going to see an overflow of money coming back to the American citizens, coming back to the nation, not the elites in the government. That way we can utilize it to improve ourselves. And once we do improve ourselves to a point where we're self-sustaining and everyone is thriving, then we can maybe look at putting this money to use in other places. But only then, after we have helped ourselves get out of this mess that we're in.
Well, I think that's a great idea. That's how we got in the mess we're in. We were in a very dominant situation. And then we were worried about, like China. They're spending tremendous amount of money building ports and things like that in the Bahamas right now. I don't think we want to get in a pit like that. I think we want to be the most dominating country to where everyone sees how prosperous we are, and they want to emulate us. No one wants to live in China.
No, and I think
Maybe Jared back there. I don't know. Do they have a Waffle House in China, Jared?
I don't even remember the last time I went to Waffle House.
It's Waffle Emporium over there.
See, if Alex knows, maybe he should go there.
Well, how about we all take a trip one day?
No.
While we're over there, we'll go to North Korea and send Kim Jong-un.
No way.
Shake his hand.
No, thanks.
No, but in all honesty, it goes back to there's reasons why Trump is talking about Canada and Greenland and the Panama Canal and now Gaza. It goes back to what you were saying about, being the dominant country. We truly are the greatest nation in the world. We truly are the dominant nation of the world, but we've been taken advantage of within and from other countries outside of us. So we need to go back to saying, listen, we are the big dogs. People rely on us, and you're not going to take advantage of us for our kindness. So I think that when Trump is looking at these projects outside the United States, it does go back to expanding our reach and making sure that we have the proper defenses in place around the nation. Greenland, maybe Gaza, there is something there for us. Like you said, if China is looking at building a bunch of stuff in the Bahamas, that should concern us, and we should be looking at the offense and doing something similar.
Exactly. The thing that people get hung up, like right now, Trump wants 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum.
Mm-hmm.
That's a double-edged sword because he's wanting for us to internalize to increase our operation. Because if there does become a situation, we have to have steel and we have to have aluminum for our military. Right now, we rely on 65% from other countries.
Right.
So we need to get it back on.
No, you're absolutely right. At the end of the day, it is becoming completely reliant as a nation so that we can provide for ourselves. And if we need a little extra, we can go to other nations and get it from them. But at the end of the day, we have the capability of providing for ourselves with all this stuff. People say, oh, well, if we put tariffs on this nation, we're not going to be able to get coffee or we're not going to be able to get maple syrup. I mean, give me a break. At the end of the day, like you said, the tariffs being put in place is going to promote production in America. Or at the end of the day, they're going to say, well, don't put a tariff on us. We'll work out a deal with you. And then it's going to be more equal.
But you're seeing that happening now.
Right. Because at the end of the day, Trump's mission is to level the playing field with us and the rest of the world. He's tired of us being taken advantage of. So let's level the playing field so that way it's truly fair trade amongst us and the rest of the world instead of us being taken advantage of.
Well, you look around, thought about this. I don't eat maple syrup, but some of the best maple syrup that I have ever tasted has come from Buffalo, New York. So I think we get maple syrup covered.
Well, that's basically Canada anyway. So, what's the problem?
Well, what's crazy about that, Gonzo, when I went across the border into Canada, you would have thought that I was a convict. It's just how difficult it was getting into Canada, but how easy it was coming back into America.
Exactly.
Why is it a problem for us to go into other nations when everyone else can come here?
Like you go into an airport in Capos or Costa Rica, somewhere like that, all those people are walking around with guns, and they don't. You're there to make sure you're there for a specific time, and you're leaving, etc. So it's completely lacked in our country. But you just look around in the studio, I look around where I'm sitting, and just ask yourself, how much is made in America where you're sitting?
No, I mean, you go to the clothes, you go to all the tools we're using. It's all, Asian countries, maybe Mexico, this and that. No, a lot of the stuff we are getting is from out of the country. There's not a lot that we are producing in America that ends up on the shelves for most people.
Well, it's like to realize I used to DeWalt, Milwaukee, etc. I found out today that Milwaukee tools are made in China. And it kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. But they're good tools. They work. They last. I wish America could get back to where I remember a kid growing up, Craftsman was the brand of hand tools made in America. I'd like to somehow be competitive in the industry of making tools, TV, RCA, Zenith, things that were made, but it's cost prohibitive to make anything.
And at the
So
end,
it's cheaper to make something in China, ship it over here, and do all the shit that has to happen. It's crazy to me.
It is.
yeah, at the end of the
You got
day,
any questions or comments down there?
let's see. Just a lot of people kind of agreeing with us on the discussions we've had.
Well, we told everybody we were always right.
Exactly. I think they're starting to finally realize that.
Yeah.
But you look, I mean, once we start producing all this stuff in America too, we're now able to export a lot more as well and send it to other nations. And now we're able to get money from these other nations as well. Instead of constantly being consumers of other nations, we're now, lenders and sellers to these other nations.
What people don't realize is all of the debt that we have right now in the country is predominantly to China. We owe China. So I would like for us to see, as the United States of America, any land that is around military base that China owns, we take it back through eminent domain and be done with that scenario.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because there's Chinese people coming through Florida, I don't have to worry about anybody breaking into my house, but Gonzo knows what that's like.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, guys, about 8:52 on Tuesday night. I know Jared had a perfect week.
That's right.
Anybody in the audience, does anybody want to get anything off their ship this week? We'll try that. See if anybody comments.
Yeah, I'll let you know. Walk the plank segment. What do you got for us, Crocker?
Man, I got a long list. I'm pretty frustrated that the United States government and the United States people have become so dependent on news media and social media to where no one truly knows the facts of what's going on anymore. And the Robb Crocker show isn't perfect, but we talk about what's black. And yeah, there'll be some white. But the everyday citizen from Lake Mary, Florida, Western North Carolina, Los Angeles, California, Birch Tree, Missouri, Tampa, Florida, should understand there's an opportunity to change the future that we have. And it's supporting President. It's supporting Elon Musk. It's allowing the wheels to turn. And when they turn and they show everyone the reality, they need to believe it because it's true.
Absolutely. Scott Norris says that his fingers are tired, so I think he wants to walk the fingers off the plank. All the typing he's been doing. No, but no, I 100% agree. The nation, I truly believe the nation is waking up. and that they're starting to realize we're in a big mess. They're willing to walk government tyranny off the plank.
Instead of lift the veil, I would like to say walk the veil off the plank. Lift the veil off the people's eyes, and so they can actually see and potentially do their own research to what's going on. I think DOGE will help expose where the money is going, and so if anyone is against that, it's because that's your money that they're laundering. And I hope that wakes a lot of people up for the 2022 election.
One of the things, I'm going to piggyback on what you said, was DOGE is there to supervise all of the people that have been hired. These people are working agency, like Gonzo said, that we pay for. The biggest dilemma that I see that was created within the past week is you have a congressman that wants to impeach Donald Trump. That's bullshit. Get out of the man's way. The American people voted for him to do a job, and within 22 days, he is kicking ass and he is taking native. I love it.
Mm-hmm. As Scott Norris so eloquently said, the more you can prove, the more they will see. And I agree with that, because at the end of the day, the more we can show and expose of the previous administrations that have come before us, people are not going to be able to ignore it anymore. It's going to get to a point where you can't choose to look the other way. It's going to be so in your face, you can't get away from it.
One thing that I want to make sure that everybody understands is we're all on the same team. We all want to see America successful. That's why I don't understand why you have people out there creating chaos, because that does not unite America. That's dividing people. And the people you're dividing are the people who need to help the most.
No, absolutely. People are going to start coming back to the home team and realizing that their ideas of success for the nation are corrupt ideas. We can all come together and truly do what is best for America and make everyone's lives better than they are currently.
Well, I want to make sure Super Bowl 60. Do not let Jay-Z pick the entertainment.
No.
Let's get some Chris Stapleton. Hell.
Maybe Trump can
anything
fix the
that I
Super
can
Bowl.
understand.
Maybe Trump can fix the Super Bowl too. Maybe that's on the agenda.
Well, guys, I look forward to seeing you. Blackheart gear. Hats available. Hat available. Sweaters available. Not for Florida.
Only a few weeks out of the year, but you're absolutely right. Definitely check out the links we have in the description for Blackheart gear. We have Branch and Barrel as well. Some of the best whiskey that I've ever had. I've been drinking it every show now since we've got it. But other than that, once you check out all the links we have and all the great products for you, make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet to the Robb Crocker Show. Hit the notification bell so you stay updated every time we upload new content, and new episodes every week, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So until next week, guys, take care.
Hold on, guys. One thing.
Whoa.
One of the things that you and I had a meeting last week, we're going to be uploading some content throughout the week relevant to what's going on in the world.
Absolutely. Stay tuned for that, because the Robb Crocker Show is moving into a new era. And just like Crocker said, there's going to be a lot more content from the show, but also outside of that. Like you said, we're going to be tackling a lot of the issues, a lot of the things that are going on in the nation and across the world. So I'm glad you brought that up. Stay tuned for all that. Any final thoughts outside of that?
Just everybody be safe, and just remember, love thy neighbor.
Love thy neighbor. Absolutely. Take care, guys. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.